Another, and it is 3-seed Belmont and back in 2016. It was a 1-point win for Minnesota.
On the defensive end, just playing on a string, like Ashley mentioned, we're going to be watching those rebounds, Spence. It's a read and react type of offense, so they're making a lot of reads out of the screens and the dribble handoffs.
Shot clock was down to 3. That shot just to
What's White about the Belmont defense. She's like, they're deceptive because they always have their hands. They're just gritty on that defensive end. You saw that with that tip in the
hand in the passing lane. That's McKinney, the freshman, with the steal. Oh, she got tripped up and really on the left knee, and she was holding it a bit, but able to make her way to the free throw lead. That Coach White said, you know, she wasn't really a player that was known for her scoring when we recruited her.
For Minnesota coming back and had a foot injury, she had to sit out all season. So that's where you're seeing McKinney's growth as a freshman. And there, Krista, you see Hart now having to guard Tootie Jones. That's what Belmont's going to want to do, is continue to expand their offense.
They made the extra pass and it pays off. To switch on those, or will they have to make a different adjustment?
That's right, because it's hard to have 6'4" Hart out there, but she's going to show what she can do inside.
So, crowd wanted to travel. McKinney drives it up. How about switching to the left and finishing?
That's why the rebounds are so key for both teams, is one, limiting possessions for the extra shot, but also so you can get out in transition like you see teams.
Yeah.
So you know that's a focal point for them.
It is. They both talked about it heavily as well. There's a big shot from Annika Stewart, checked in right side, rattles around and off.
And these are quick shots. I'm going to see how the coaches adjust to that as McKinney goes up for it.
3.
Celebrate in the championship game.
I love McKinney's confidence over the season. Becoming a starter has really made a difference. And how many shots in?
We got to highlight Banks in the beginning, but she's already had a lot of defense.
A little for her, and man, she said Tootie is so hard on herself. I didn't have to be that hard on her. She said she's such an overachiever. It was such a joy being able to coach her.
The heart and soul of the team. As she goes, the Bruins go, and that's going to be a key to get her going. Like, what a great story. Thanks for sharing that, Ashley.
Yeah, that was
to attack and get downhill. They're playing, the ball is a little sticky. I'd love to see them get that ball movement a little bit more, and a second moving screen already on that offense. Together in coordinated action.
Well, it explains just the 2 points scored so far for Belmont, as finally Minnesota gets the pass out, but
to the rim, a high percentage shot, or maybe getting to that free throw line.
Yep, great point. The jumper's not going, so work it in if you can. They do, and that's a time squaring off with UCLA. Our Final Four pregame special begins at 6 Eastern, while Sue Bird
in coaching, playmaking ability, and whether it's the WBIT with the big 3 from higher.
She's usually on the glass. She has 4 rebounds in this first quarter. Oh, nothing but net, so not trip. Maybe that'll get the Bruins
team, but splash roll because they want to bomb those threes. But right now in this game, you want to see them trying to, again, create multiple level of options on the
way by the Golden Gophers. McKinney thinks about it, kicks it out.
And control is my effort, and always being around the basketball, going for those rebounds. So no wonder she's already got 5 here tonight.
Oh, pretty move, really extending.
And then the defense isn't set. You see Battle coming off the bounce.
Well, defense, extra effort, second chance points, and their game clock, first quarter of the WBIT championship game. And the defense mixing it up. Minnesota clock winding down. Trip. Ooh. Oh, so close. And the extra chance won't drop.
Over again is do what you do best, and that's how simple basketball you can play for the Bruins.
You're right, doesn't want them thinking so much, just play their game.
Scoring, whether it was the 3, the mid-range, that's what you want to do in that championship game, is come out, show what's up.
The movement without the ball, and Cheeseman.
Nice curl screen for Holmes, and her getting downhill is a key for them to put some points on the board.
Hart inside, and when she gets that deep, it's
on so many, like you mentioned, of those fundamentals, whether it was even form shooting and moving without the basketball, jump stopping. You're seeing how for Belmont, and the back cut by Hire gives her a layup, but the pretty banker for Kendall Hull this year in my first season, but she really loves this group. Yeah, and she's like, I just love basketball, and I just want to have fun. And the biggest thing she said she worked on is huge. Everything's going in. And when you're a player, you know that those makes are contagious, and it starts going through the team. Try to get going, and I thought there might be a kick. Instead, Minnesota outrunning defense to offense.
See if Belmont can make some adjustments after the timeout. Coach Brooks wanted to settle the team down. Was 12 points off of those turnovers. So giving up chances, but then also giving up points. Cheeseman squares it up, gets it.
Let's go. So that gut check and that huge three, we're going to keep that tempo and see if it goes in the Bruins' favor.
Yeah, you have to know there's no deficit, that they're really...
Do what you do best, get that ball and go.
Stewart back on inside. Squares it up, gets it.
Defense. So a lot of times teams will look and it looks like a 2-3 zone because they're always playing in the gaps, but it's still a man-to-man defense, and then they do a
battle all the way across the inline. McKinney with the hottest hand the whole tournament.
will battle. Look.
Cheeseman, outside shot's not going, but gets a little... Tired, good defensive rotation coming over, batted around.
And all trying to make this stop happen.
Well outside, but nothing but net. Quick pass back to Hire. What a read by Groholski. Yeah, Groholski's yet to score, but she has 4 assists this first half. That one off the mark for... Pounding defense. And the rotation down. That one tossed up.
The rim and then kicking behind for their open shooters.
Needing some help. Harrison deep inside with the reverse. Clock winding, and the defense coming in. The takeaway and the push. And at the buzzer, so... For shot.
That threw Belmont off their game so much in that first half. She said we kept them in front and did a really good job balancing, contesting their shot while staying our...
Fouls called on both teams, but quickly it's Cheeseman. Help D coming over. Cheeseman was wide open, and she's frustrated with herself. She knows
about basketball IQs.
Oh, she did. She talked about the fact that Hire never lets anybody box her out. She told us that.
Into those three-point looks.
Defense, and trying to save it, but she knew it. Threw it right to...
Probably the right idea, but just the wrong execution because McKinney stayed after the play.
Into the lane and fouled. Banks trying to stay with McKinney. Kicks it out. Hire didn't quite get under it, and the rebound down. Jones squares it up, swish. Tootie Jones with a big three.
Going to be open on that backside.
Yeah, it finally worked. Now high hedge, but it leaves McKinney open. Gets it. Tori McKinney light it up. Baseline runner. Just missing for Lush.
NBA players, you try to mirror your game after his battle is a star. Other games, she already had 35 points and 10 assists. And she said, Paige Beckers, and we couldn't.
Splits the two defenders, but not enough on the shot. And now Minnesota outrunning McKinney. Like a walk at the shot to go. And losing it out of bounds. Clock down to 4. Tripp's got a good look, gets the shooter's touch. Shot clock to 5. Stewart's trying to get closer, and the defense right on open.
Yeah, and here's another opportunity for Belmont to push pace.
Banks, help D coming over. Final Four Friday, Texas and South Carolina at 7 Eastern, and then UConn taking on UCLA, our Final Four pregame special. And Cheeseman to the line. Could be a plus for the Bruins if they can capitalize on these. First one no good though for Kendall Cheeseman. Oh, when you can play in front of your family and friends, and one of few misses for them at
young age. When we talk to these players and shoot around in sport practice, they talk about that, how their parents rebounded for them, were in the gym, showed them those. Overlooked in the stats, but your team knows what you did to impact that. So cool to talk to Coach Blitzwhite and have her share that moment, like the end of their season, and how much growth they've had from November all the way to March.
Tootie Jones got the steal. Coach Plitzowite said this team embraced adversity this year. They lost one of their leading scorers from the season before as another, not too far into the season, Taylor Woodson. And so some key pieces, they had to make adjustments, but she said they have continued to fight.
They have continued to overcoming the adversities of those injuries like you mentioned early on in the season.
Coach Plitzowite, much more hip than Guinea. Swarmed by the D, kicks it out. That one won't go. And she got to the line a lot. 9 of 11 from the stripe. That was a big key. And she gets that one. Here's this. Free throw's good. 9 of 11 from the line.
Down 19. It's time to roll.
Exactly. 1 quarter remaining. You got to put it out there. You got 5 fouls to give,
yeah,
right?
Let's go. On the far wings, they are dangerous off the bounce. That's something they can get something going downhill.
How about that? Where to go? You can feel the intensity raised by the defense of Belmont. And Battle slithers that one in. Had a tough game.
She's been struggled a bit from the three-point line. I think she's just rushed a little bit in those shots.
For the Golden Gophers. And right back at you, says Tootie Jones.
Hey, that one shot.
This is what is at stake. Belmont seeking their first ever postseason championship. Minnesota seeking their first in a variety of things and fought through it and just came up short, but are playing on in this championship.
Losing streak. And Coach Brooks said, let's hold up right now. We got to reset. And they went back to the fundamentals on D in and out for Minnesota on Hart. And this is when Belmont can push. And look at Jones. She's not afraid to take it again. You got to have that space to land right there. But this is the kind of steals that Belmont needs. 2-on-1 fast break.
Tripped, they were down 5 points with 30 seconds remaining in that one and found a way.
Yeah, that should be on ESPN.
Into Hart, she is swarmed. And forces kicked up, holding Minnesota scoreless over 2 minutes. And the shot on the outside, this time a foul will be.
Our time, you gotta love that.
Yeah.
And how inspiring is that in the middle of the huddle? You can notice is their hands and how they're moving their feet faster. It's just a visual representation. They're causing more disruption and those quick shots. And she has been a difference maker for the Bruins. And now you got a couple of moves going on for Banks. One better than Banks to try to get somebody on their heels. Look at that move.
Banks. Oh, a little too much adrenaline pumping on that. Tootie Jones out on Battle. She's down in the defensive stance. Battle using the high screen, gets it.
Jones went under the screen, able to finish. That's the kind of play right there by Banks. You don't hang your hat on that first one. Look at the rotations by Belmont.
Grahalski knew exactly where she was. Says the best of her game is still ahead of her. She's still just figuring out how good she can be. Oh, and finally, Cheeseman. UConn. Their appearances, how about 24 of them? 7 for Grahalski. Higher, drives it up, swings it up. Gets the second, higher first, but both teams in the bonus. And the first free throw good for Carmen Harrison, the coach that won a championship at the Division II level at Grand Valley State. So fun. We talked about this the other evening.
The other night, the Minnesota Lynx were hanging out at their game too. So yeah, good basketball in the state.
Big three.
You gain momentum. You play simple basketball, like Coach Plitzowite likes to say, and you get to your championship.
First one good. All together to finish it off. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are the Coach Dawn Plitzowite in her second season.